Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to sell a service business. This is applicable in whatever year you're seeing this video, 2025, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, all the way to 2100 or whatever the fuck it is. You can expect to exit your business efficiently and properly if you implement the steps I'm going to walk you guys through. Let's get into it. Before you sell a business, you have to actually get everything set up in advance, which is why step number one is prepare 2 to 3 years ahead. Before you sell a business, it is actively good to maximize the amount of equity you have in that business by preparing 2 to 3 years ahead of time, recording your P&L, all that stuff, maximizing your business equity, whatever debt you have that's left off. Try to pay more as possible. That significantly increases the amount of EBITDA you get for that business. Now, normally in the business service industry or service business industry, whatever you want to call it, you can typically expect about a 3x to 4x multiples. This is your profit. Whatever your business profit is, times 3 to 4. It could be 3.2, 3.5, 3.8, all the way till 4. Whatever that figure is, how much you can expect to sell your business for. Quick example, you have a business that does $10 million, right? You guys profit $1 million on a 4x EBITDA. That is going to be $4 million. That is the amount of money you can expect to sell that business for. Now, $4 million is also in the high end. Realistically, $3 to $4 million is what you should shoot for. So that is what I would go for personally, but that's just one example. Same thing at $1 million. You have $1 million business, you profit, let's say $300,000 each year. That's roughly 30%. So your EBITDA multiples for that business is gonna be between 3 to 4x. At 3x, that is $900,000. At 4x, that is upwards of $1.2 million. What EBITDA does is essentially buy back your time from the business is stable. They can predict the business performance over the next 5 years. So you essentially exit that business, you buy back your time, you get the money, the profits from that business, a couple years the gain, then you can reinvest that money if you're smart about it, rather than just buying properties and buying stupid shit. If you exit a business for $900,000 to $1.2 million, I would personally put that money into ETFs and play it smart. ETFs on an 8% annual compounding rate, you're looking at $60,000+ at $900,000. At 1.2, you're looking at $90,000 plus. You're gonna be getting paid off every single year. Now you have that money coming in every single year. You use the compounded interest you're getting from that money to then get a house. Do not pay the house off at first. That is a really bad way to go about it. Get that money, pay it to yourself, let it compound, or go get another job. Use the money that you're being paid from your compounded interest from the ETFs, from the exit equity you got from your business to purchase a property. Or just don't use the money at all. Just let it sit, let it compound for 5-10 years. That money could easily triple to $3 million while you're working something else. You could work another job or still maintain an active role in your company, but not as the owner, but as a manager or as a, right? So you've gotten the equity from the company. You're also being demoted to a presidential role. Obviously, you sell the business, someone else is the owner, so they demote you by definition. So there's nothing wrong with that. So that is essentially what I would do in my situation. Take that money, put it into ETFs, let it compound at 8% annually. Do not touch it. Do not buy stupid shit with it. If I were you, I would get another job, work that other job for 5 to 10 years, use the profits from that job to live life, travel, do all the good shit you want to do. Then the compounded interest from your exit equity you got, it's going to be at $1 million or $900,000. It's roughly going to be $3 million within a decade. Use that $3 million, buy a house, and live life happily ever after. This is the smartest way of going about it. If you do it this way, you can literally retire before the age of 50, right? Your 20s, you're hustling, you don't really know what to do. You figure out something starting to work, you start your business. Grow that business from your late 20s to your late 30s years. Exit the business. The preparation phase takes 2 to 3 years. So you exit the business before you turn 40. Now let the exit equity or the exit capital sit in an ETF account like Fidelity, whatever it is. Let it sit for another decade. While it sits, go work another job or get an active management role in the job you just exited as a manager in the business. Get that money, get a salary, use that to live your life every single day. Do not touch your exit capital, let it compound for another decade. Once that compounds, you can reinvest that money into buying a house, a really nice house for about $1 million, $800,000 to $1 million. For another decade, you would have gotten $3 million. So you could easily get $1 million house. You have $2 million compounding for your retirement. First of all, 10% of $2 million a year is $200,000. So 80% of that is 160, if my math is correct. You can live like a king till the day you freaking leave the planet. That is a smart way of going about it. And this year essentially shows you how to do that. So the first step, as I said, you have to prepare in. This is 2 to 3 years before you actively sell the business. Prepare, take records, keep your records, your P&L, all the records that needs to be kept, business expense, employees pay, total amount of employees, whatever expense it costs you to actively run and maintain that business. You want to record at least 2 to 3 years in advance before you sell the business. Once you've started keeping records, you maintain a stable profit percentage. This is what private equity firms and buyers typically look at. Profit is what is important. So you want to stabilize it. If you have a profit margin that's all over the place, try to stabilize it actively over the next 2 to 3 years. Let that profit margin stay the same, if not really close to the same. That is really good. It shows that the business is slightly predictable. Obviously, things happen. If a situation like Corona does happen again, they know it's out of your hand. But if your profit margin is close to as predictable as possible, that business has a really good ROI in the eyes of the buyer. So once you have that done, you connect with an M&A advisor. This is someone who does M&A transactions. We're talking possibly an investment banker, a brokerage. I do not recommend a brokerage. That is the ghetto way of selling a business. You will lose a lot of money from selling through brokerages. I 100% advise locating M&A advisors like myself. So if you're watching this video, you plan on exiting your business in a couple of years, I have a pool of M&A advisory. I have a pool of M&A advisory team members in my company. We can help you start setting up the process to sell your business in the coming years. Once you have an M&A advisor locked in, you already have someone to help walk you through the process, and this is locked in. Move on to the next step, which is work out your enterprise value. You and your M&A advisor should actively work out your enterprise value based on your profit. Again, a few examples I gave you guys earlier. $10 million, 10% profit margin, you're looking at $1 million, 3 to 4x multiples. You can sell that business anywhere between $3 to $4 million. Same thing with the $1 million business I gave you earlier. A 30% profit margin at $300,000. You can expect to sell that business at $900,000 to $1.2 million. But you have to get a realistic enterprise value. Your M&A advisor to understand how it actually works, because a lot of businesses think they can sell their business for way more than it's worth. That's not how it works. There's a process to everything. If people just sold their businesses for whatever they think it's worth, people would be out here selling shitty businesses for $100 million. But obviously that's not the case. There's a process. You have to go through that process with an M&A advisor, an investment banker who actually works in this industry and understands how the process works. So once you've worked out a realistic EBITDA valuation you can get for that business, begin the sell cycle. The M&A advisor reaches out to private equity firms They hold a meeting in a centralized location. The bidding process gets started. Whoever beats the most gets the award of buying your business. You exit your business. M&A advisor gets a percentage, typically 5 to 10%, depending on the business bracket. So small, mid-sized enterprise. Obviously, the larger it is, the smaller the percentage it gets, because the percentage compounds at a larger amount. For small businesses, you can expect typically 5 to 10% for having a M&A advisor helping you out in the process. So you sell the business for $10 million, M&A advisor gets $1 million, roughly at 10%. You sell it for $1 million, M&A advisor could get $100,000 roughly from that. So this is how you can sell any service business, 0 to whatever the value of your profit at a 3 to 4x standard industry EBITDA multiples. This is a quick visualization that shows you the process and how it works. By the way, if you do want this visualization, I have a guide in the comment section down below to access that guide. It shows you how to go from point A to point Z efficiently without making any mistakes. It has a summary of all the process. That is literally the SOP of selling any business. So click the link down below to get that PDF guide right now. So again, going back to the step, which is prepare 2 to 3 years. That is what you're doing here. You're building equity. You're maximizing the amount of equity in the business by preparing in advance. Once you have that done, you go to record keeping. You keep your records, which is your P&L statements, your business expense, everything it costs you to run that business. You track on a spreadsheet or you use a software, whatever works for you. Once you have that done, you partner up with an M&A advisor. This person is crucial in selling your business to actually getting the amount of EBITDA you're looking for. Do not use or utilize a business brokerage, because you will lose a lot of money in your business. Those people at the bottom tier when it comes to exiting and selling businesses. Once you've teamed up with an M&A advisor or a firm that'll help you exit the business, you essentially work out the realistic EBITDA you can get from that business. It is good to have realistic expectations set. Once you have a realistic expectation set, you want to shoot for that margin 20% higher. This is what you can get away with. So let's say they predict you can sell the business for $10 million. You want to shoot for 20% higher, just under $10.5 million. This will include obviously the M&A advisor's fee in that 20% increase. So this is how you typically go about it. Once you guys have worked out and know how everything works, you essentially begin the process of selling the business. Now it typically takes up to a year to sell the business, because buyers have to do due diligence, financial due diligence, operations due diligence, fulfillment due diligence. They have to do a lot of investigations essentially to make sure the business will not be at risk in a year or 2 to 3 years. They're not going to lose money by purchasing that business. So once the due diligence is done, you get the LOI and essentially you've sold your business. Let me know what you guys think about these steps down in the comment section. As I said, this is applicable to whatever service business you currently run, be it landscaping, be it plumbing, electricity, woodworking, or builder, contractor, whatever it is you do. Window cleaner, solar, roofing. This is the step across the board on how to build equity, maximize the equity of your business, partner up with an M&A firm, an investment banker, exit your business, and roll over the profits or the capital you've exited from your business into ETFs. Let that compound for a decade. Go get something else. You're young. At 40, if you start this process at the age of 30, at 40 upon exiting, you're young. You can work another decade. Trust me, it's better than 63. So go work another decade. Work for someone or actively still maintain a role in the business, receive salary or hourly pay from the business, and use that to cover your daily expenses, your rent, your living, and all that. Let your money compound. For instance, if you exited at $900 to $1.2 million, this is what most people are going to be able to sell their businesses for. Let that money compound to $3-4 million. This is a realistic goal you can expect in a decade. Once it's compounded, take out 20% of that, use that to buy a home. 20% of $4 million is $1 million, for instance. or 20% of $4 million is $800,000 for instance. Use that 20 to 25%. Once it's compounded, you want to take out 25% from whatever the capital is in your ETF. So if it's compounded from $3 to $4 million, you take out 25%. For instance, that's $4 million. 25% is going to be $1 million. You put that into your property, your home, and the remaining $3 million, you let that pay you 80% annually, and you could live your life smoothly for the rest of your life. 80% of $3 million is to be just on the $240,000 to $260,000. That is how much you can expect. Roughly $20,000 a month. At 50, your kids are all grown. Most likely, your last kid should be a teenager heading to college. So living at $20,000 a month, $240,000, it's a lot. So you have a lot of money to travel the world, charter private jets, heck, once or twice a year, just live a good life. First class for sure. You can do that on a monthly basis without making a dent in your account. You could easily live a good life for $8,000 a month. The remaining $12,000, you spend it on experiences and live a good life for the remaining 40 years you have on the planet, 50 to 80 or 90, then you exit the planet. Let me know what you guys think about this video down in the comment section below. I'm gonna make more videos like this. Catch you guys later.